My guy hit me up this morning because he had a couple parts to mess with last night, and he was gonna fire it up and said, "Nah," he said, "I'm gonna have to fire it up in the morning." I got a text late this morning, and he said that boat fired up with no hesitation and was running smooth. So looks like everything that he has done to it, which it was a lot, but he's done a lot of work to it. Rewired it completely from the nav light all the way up in the front to the trolling motor up in the bow, all the way back to the house load and the engine batteries back in the bilge compartment. Did a lot of work to this boat, and I am hyped. I know I don't look like it, but I'm hyped. I might be taking the boat out tomorrow. That's what I want to do.
What's up? So, I know that's been a minute since I did a update on the boat. I'm standing right next to it right now. There's been a lot of work done. A lot of work done. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, first things first. The front end of the boat, as you can see, is a lot shinier right there. It's still not 100%, but it was just a real quick job. The guy that I had do the work, he also does wet sanding and stuff like that. So that was my little taste test of what it could look like. So not bad. Anyway, so moving on, I got a used trolling motor, Motor Guide 67, and I've tested it out. It works quite well. It definitely is enough to move the boat. 67 pound thrust. I do need to readjust that, but as you can see, my lights, my deck lights, casting deck lights are on. They work very, very well, as are the ones for the aft deck. Now, the switch panel is in and wired up. You can see power cord going here, power cord going here, plugged in. That's because got my battery charger, and then down here are the two batteries for the trolling motor. Move those up forward. I just have that little dry box in there to kind of prop it up so it's not laying on the extension, on the power cord. I do need to put my seats back in. I've got a couple ideas for that. I took it out and ran it. I only had my driver's seat and my forward seat for the casting deck. Now, this I'm gonna leave it closed. Really, in here is just empty space. I gotta find the hatches that are supposed to go in there, but in the meantime, it's all good. All right, so wired up the new anchor and the nav light sockets. This is where most of the change has happened. So added a battery, and then there's the Blue Sea Systems added battery mini. So I've got the cutoff switch, and that only has off, on, and then emergency to combine the batteries. And then there's the little ACR, automatic charging relay, to go in between them. replaced one of my live well pumps because the old one was cracked. Still the same bilge pump, but if you look between the live well pumps, I had him add a float switch, which just makes good sense if I'm ever gonna park it. I've got a fuel and water separator added on. Let's see, and there's of course bus bar and negative bus bars back there. Close this back. New fuel line. Did a lot of work to the engine as well after we got the rewire done. Replaced the carburetor bowls because the original ones were warped. Not much in here. This is basically what the other side looks like, but that's the water separator back there. So these two sides are just open. Rewired the dash. That's an original tack, original gas gauge, and voltmeter. That voltmeter goes to the engine battery. The pressure gauge, I'm not sure. That might be a bad send unit. And the trim gauge, I've got eyes, I can look, but I'm gonna figure that out. Did a new panel for this to cover this dash because there was a hole right here from the old stereo, and then put in a USB port with a voltmeter that gives the voltage of the house battery. So I had him add this stereo. There used to be a old school depth sounder there. So that depth sounder, I've never seen it work. So I took it out. And then I've got a GPS speedometer complete with compass on it. And that little horn button right there is new. That used to be, this horn button is what used to be the sensitivity for the old depth sounder, but I've got everything off at the moment. Let's see here. That's about all for the dash, really. He put a new throttle cable in, and made this panel set up as well. Put my new plug in. Man, all in all, did a lot of work to it. So the next project is going to be most likely superficial, although I'm heavily considering doing something with the surface here, because this non-skid is fine and all, but it is rough on the feet and it gets hot, very hot. So, but other than that, I'm probably going to go ahead and replace the speakers, because the two speakers, they work, but they're not great. You can see the old school Bass Tracker logo. So I've found those decals. So, and I just got my new registration. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna have him go ahead and try to wet sand to get as much of this shadowing stuff off as he can. And then I'm gonna replace my registration stuff with some custom decal work. Other than that, I mean, she runs well. Right now, out at the lake. And the boat's in the water. I got my fishing seat and my driving seat. I didn't put any of the others in right now. It was interesting unloading the boat solo. Yeah, some lessons were learned there. So, about to fire this thing up. I'm off. Okay, so I'm on the water. About 18 feet of water, not a whole lot going on. I'm about to have to move. I'm creeping up on the shoreline over there. But let's fire this thing up. We'll go run up the cove here. So it moved. It's really it's difficult to hold the phone and get this thing up to speed like I want to all at the same time. Okay, it's trimmed down. All right, try again.